What not to say in an interview? What are the things that employers or potential interviewers don't really like to hear about? What to avoid and what not to say in an interview that you can still present yourself as a strong candidate? We'll share 5 tips today. All right. Hi, everyone. Jade from Sydney, from Career Journey Professional, helping you to find and land in the career that's aligned with who you are, what you're best at, and what you strive to live for your career and your lifestyle. A lot of my participants and clients are currently going through interviews online, but it's just for now during COVID. And I got asked by a few of them as in what not to do or what not to say in an interview. Very interesting question, because most of the times we are thinking about, what to say to make yourself stand out. What is the right strategy to really use or articulate when you're having an interview? I have made relevant videos in that before, actually. One of them is called, how to assess your performance in an interview. And another one is how to stand out in an interview. So you can go and check on my YouTube channel, The Career Journey Professional, refer to some previous videos that I've made on that. But today we're sharing the opposite, things not to do in an interview. So let's get started. So the first thing is, the most important thing, as we all know, for employers are your most relevant experiences that is closely related to what you are applying for that next job, for that future job, for your dream job. So they are going to ask you things about, tell me your experience of doing such and such. Let me know what you know about such and such. So when it comes to things that you're probably not familiar with or things that you haven't done, you don't know, don't directly say, I don't know about such and such, or I have no knowledge about such and such, or I don't have any experience doing about such and such. Even though that is true, try to avoid sounding negative in that way. And what you want to say is, you can say things like, I know about, let's say what they are asking about X, and what you know is Y, which they are related or they're very similar. They could be similar processes, they could be similar platform, they could be similar software, similar kind of client, similar kind of projects. So again, they're asking X and you're answering about Y. So you can say, I know about Y, and I have had experience doing Y in my last role, or my knowledge about this area is Y. But I am taking classes to further study about X, or I am planning to further invest my skills, develop my skills, advance my skills and knowledges about X. So I am competent and confident to hit the ground and running. So what you're literally doing is, yes, you probably don't know that much about X, which is what they're asking. Whereas if you know something that's similar to X, and then you still want to mention that, basically you want to mention anything that's relevant to the field that they're asking. And then also mentioning that you are planning to invest in yourself in that way to improve your skills, to improve your relevant experiences and competences, so that in the future you can do it. I hope I have explained it clearly. So let me tell you a little bit why they don't want to. It doesn't sound the best when you say that. Employers want to hear everything and anything that you know in terms of skills, knowledge, industry insights, relevant knowledge, or things that you learned that's relevant to what they're using it, which is X. So anything that's relevant, transferable, that's easy to apply, that's relevant to us, it's everything they want to know. So that's the twist in your mind, how to think about it, instead of just saying, I have no knowledge about that, or I don't know anything about that. So that's tip number 1. Don't say you don't have experience about things straight out right like that. Secondly, if you want to negotiate about salary, don't do it at the beginning. And I have recently experienced this with interviewing one of my own assistants. Obviously, she wanted, so I have stated very clearly my hourly rate, and she wanted to negotiate that, which is totally fine. Don't negotiate at the very beginning before I even get to know you. So you can negotiate salary. There's a certain time when it comes to it. Most of the time, you want to do it when you already established a good conversation, relationship you have had that conversation with your future employer, that you do like each other, that you are a good match. And then that's time when you bring up, when you have more leverages, when you are in a better position to negotiate that. But don't do that at the very beginning, which is what one of the interview my assistant did. She's very brave, but that's just not the right time to do it. And if you want to negotiate salary, if you do have a certain range, or let's say people give you a range from 70K to 90K per year, and you do want to strive for the 80 or 90 or even 95, don't say you're flexible, because when you say you're flexible, basically you're going to mostly end up on a lower rank. They'll probably just give you the 70. So if you do want to negotiate that, again, like I said, go through the whole process of whatever they want to ask you. You normally want to mention that what's the latest stage of a recruitment process, and you want to find out how many rounds of interview they have for a recruitment process. And if you really need to bring it up in the first round of interview, sometimes it happens. Maybe you just want to quickly word it out whether this job is for you or not. Then do it towards the end of the interview as well, after you have established some firm ground of you are a good match with that potential job. That's where you can bring it up. And if you want to go for, one of the way to go for it, you can say my skills and experiences would put me on the higher end of the salary package or the salary range for this position. Reason being, you can say 1, 2, 3, let me explain. Firstly, second, third. So obviously do your research and prepare your reasons why you are worth what you're worth. That again, it's some of the homework that you need to do. So that's second thing about salary. Don't negotiate at the beginning of the stage, and don't say you're flexible if you do want to negotiate. Right, that's the second one. Thirdly, don't say negative things about your previous colleagues, your manager, your boss, or your company, or like my last company was awful, or it was a shit place to work for. Even though that's true, oftentimes that can be true. Again, you don't want to sound negative, or you don't want to, from a manager's perspective, it could come across that it's hard for them to manage people like that, or they don't know you. So they could just sometimes sound you're bittery, or sounds a bit bitchy as well. And here's the twist, what to do. There are aspects, what you can say about your previous job, you can say there are aspects that I liked about my former positions, that I enjoyed about my former companies, but what I'm looking forward, what I want more is flexible work arrangement in your company, in this new company, new industry, new projects. So focus on what you like and look forward to more, which is more of the positive side. And oftentimes, those are the things, those are the negatives, those are the opposite things of what you didn't like. So instead of focusing on what you don't like, which is very easy to fall back into, and I believe most of the time, that's the reason that we want to leave that previous job. And I had that too. So instead of, let's say that you had a really bad manager you just can't communicate with, then you can say, again, there are aspects of my former job that I do like, but what I'm looking forward to is working in a team like yours that's, inclusive, that's multicultural background. There are, less hierarchies, that's easier and encourage creative communications. The list goes on, whatever you look forward to and enjoy. And I believe that's the authentic reason that draws you to this company anyways. And if there isn't any reasons like that, do your research. There must be. You have to find something that you like about that company. Because they're going to ask you anyways, what do you like about our company? So yeah, in terms of when people ask you, why do you leave your previous work? This is a good angle to tackle it as well. But coming back to the main point of today, what not to do, try to avoid negative or positive comments like that. That's number 4. Number 5, is that number 4? That's actually number 3. That's number 3. Let's go on to number 4. Number 4 is when they ask you, do you have any questions? Don't say, nope, I don't have any questions. Or let me rephrase it. Don't walk into an interview without questions. There must be questions. And if you have quality questions, it will be great. One of the most basic fundamental things that you can ask is the recruitment process. I mean, of course, if they have told you, then probably you don't need to ask that. But that is something that at least you have a map in your head. How long this is going to take, how many rounds this is going to take. Maybe it will take 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and even 5 to 6 weeks, so that you have, the peace within yourself, knowing what the process is going to be like. But it's also telling you how to prepare for that as well. There's so many things if you can ask. If you genuinely like one job, you can ask anything about the company. How long have they been there? What are the future projects? What is the future strategies? You can ask about the team itself. What are the future how is the team doing? How many people is there? How is the task allocated? You can ask about the job itself. What is the job's actual task on a daily basis? What is the challenges? Are the key components that's important for that job? You can ask about the culture, what sort of people you get to work with, why your interviewers like that company or don't like that company, how maybe they see some challenges, where they probably would find they really fit in or maybe don't fit in that much. And you can ask about the interviewer themselves. Well, I won't keep talking about the list is very long. I do have an interview training course that I have listed out everything that you could possibly ask in a good way. And sometimes this is where you can really find out things that's really important to you. How flexible are they willing to be? Are they going to sponsor your career development in terms of developing leadership, doing extra courses, getting that certificate, having someone to work under you to support you or give you that opportunity to have different exposures? There must be so many things you want to ask. Just don't say, I don't have questions. This is where you can show that you have done your research, you have put your thoughts into that, you really like about this job, how much you're invested in this job and this job interview. So please prepare some questions. That's number 4. Number 5 is don't say you've made terrible mistakes. There will be questions and situations like this. They are going to ask you, give me a scenario that you have made a mistake and how did you deal with it? Give me a scenario that you have encountered difficulties and how did you overcome that? What is one of the biggest challenges in your life? The list goes on. This kind of question, there are many of them. And when they ask that, and this is a little bit tricky when I say, don't answer that, I did make a terrible mistake, and stop there. Don't say that and stop there. You want to rephrase the situation in a way that what was the reason and what was the limitation and you want to pick a story that has good outcome actually. So maybe you made mistakes or delays or whatever, and then you were able to amend it, eventually come out with a good situation. It will come out with a good outcome result. And when you are expressing that, you want to focus on what you have learned. You want to say what you would do differently now if you do this again, if you start a new job, and what is your strategy to deal with similar situations in the future? How you would help yourself or the team or the others to avoid it happening again. So just don't say that I made a mistake and then stop there. Go on and explain what you learned and how you will tackle it in the future. All right, so that's the 5 tips on what things not to say and not to do in an interview. Hope I have explained it clearly. Of course, when it comes to interview, it has to be authentic. It has to fit into how you want to express yourself. At the same time, you want to present yourself in the most confident, comfortable, and competent way. You want to present yourself as a strong candidate. And that, again, is coming down to sometimes one-on-one interview strategies or boosting your performances in interview. If you do need that help, reach out to me. Happy to help you. Otherwise, wish you all the best, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and people on YouTube, please leave a like, subscribe to support the channel, because the channel has been there for a good 4 years. I know there are some of you are watching this because there are clients who came to me, but I really do appreciate if you can, leave the like and subscribe so that the channel can survive. All right. That's enough of me. Have a nice weekend. See you next time.